Okay, if you see this particular question, what you do is you let me know whether you got it right or wrong. Okay, that means actually I don't need to know if you got it right. You tell me if you have gotten it wrong, and you can just type into the chat, put down wrong. Can just type into the chat and put down wrong very quickly so I can see your responses. In the case of many people getting the same question wrong, Vinuli, can you hear me now? Don't worry, Siran. Vinuli, can you hear me now? Seems like she can't hear me still. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Vinuli? She didn't respond. Vinuli, can you hear me? Right. So in the case, if all of you gotten it correct, nobody got it wrong, then I wouldn't spend too much time explaining. Can? All right. But certain question, if let's say it's still necessary for me to ask you, how come you got your answer? Because I know what are the common errors of students, right? So if you've gotten it wrong, then I'll be asking you. She still cannot hear. Can. Okay, now this first question. How many of you cannot do this question? You quickly type into the chat, let me know. Whenever you see a new question, right? Okay, you can actually put down, for example, you see what I type in the chat? Okay, if I put down, if I've gotten it wrong, I'll be typing 1 dot wrong, correct? So I will know. So you check your work. If you have been given a wrong, you need to type it in. But let's say you've gotten it correct, then you leave it. Okay, so this is the first question. It talks about, right, this part of the plant being cut. Okay, and it is of plant P. Nobody got it wrong, right? Everybody got it correct. Okay, but can I ask, okay, you see, after part X of plant P is being cut, right? Okay, the roots of plant P are still able to get water. It's not true, isn't it? Cannot get, huh? The roots of plant Q still able to get food. Yeah, it's true. Okay, then the leaves of plant P able to get water. Okay, this one is true. We're able to get water, right? And then this one, yeah. Okay, so this one, no problem. Answer is C. Right. Question 2. Anybody got it wrong? So P, this is the same question, right? This is the same question as the first question, right or not? But they ask in another way. Okay, they ask in another way. So when they ask in another way, you see how are they actually changing a similar question into something else. Okay, so farmer actually cuts away the food carrying tubes of X at plant P. So now it is actually not the whole thing being cut, right? Right now, it is only the food carrying tubes that are being cut. Okay, so what happens here? They ask you, will leaves A, B, and C be able to receive water from the roots of plant P? Okay, so will A, B, and C be able to receive water? Because only the food carrying tubes are cut, right? Right now. So if food carrying tubes are cut, then there's no problem, there's no problem with getting water at all, isn't it? So we look, Which answer do you choose? All right.
I mean A.
You actually chose A, is it? Okay. Leaf B and leaf C get water. Now, it's only the food carrying tubes that are being cut, Willa. Can you see that? Yeah, so if food carrying tubes are being cut, that means the water carrying tubes are still intact. So water carrying tubes can still transport the water, right? Yes or no? Okay, the rest of you got it correct, isn't it? Can I ask you, why is it that leaf A cannot get water? Why is it that leaf A cannot get water? You see, the food carrying tubes are cut only, right? So water can still be transported, but how come leaf A doesn't get water? Any idea? You can unmute yourself. Okay, we have one student here, new student here. Okay. Can I have your name, please? Because I don't have your name on my list. Irene, is it?
Irene.
Yeah, Irene. Is there another name that you have?
Shazza.
Oh, okay, that's the one. Shazza, is it? I have this name on my list. Okay, then I'll mark you present. All right. Do you have the worksheet already, Irene?
Yes.
Good. So we are now going through the questions. Have you tried it?
Yeah.
You tried. You did it on hard copy, is it?
Yeah.
Because I can't see any of your results here. Yeah. So what we do is usually we have students doing the worksheet, right? Inside the portal and then click submit. And then I can see your responses. I know what are the questions you can do, what are the questions you cannot do. Okay, so that's what we do, Irene. But also good for you to print out after you've done it. Okay, so when we are going through the questions, you can actually write down some notes. Can?
Okay.
All right, good. Siran, yes, Siran actually said because it is only plant P stem that is being cut. But plant Q is not affected, right? But plant Q not affected, how come plant Q is not getting water? How come the leaf A, which is on plant Q, cannot get water? Point out something to me. Very important. Let's see who can see this. If you can see this, I'm going to give you extra points for your Kahoot. Let me see. Eye power now. Read the questions very carefully. You can actually find it. Willa.
Is it it's part of plant Q?
Yeah, because leaf A gets water from the roots of
Plant Q.
Yeah, so nothing wrong with this question or answer. They are asking you which leaf or will the leaves ABC be able to receive water from where? Water from plant P. Why will leaf A get water from plant P? Right or not? Many students cannot answer this. If I set this as a structured question, I will ask you which leaf can get water. Then I'll ask next question, okay? Explain why. Explain for each leaf why they can or cannot get the water. You are not able to get the mark, right? If you cannot explain properly. Be very careful. When I explain to you certain parts, is because I know questions can be set that way. Okay, I can take this exact question, use the whole thing, and ask you in the structured way. That means in the open-ended. Okay, and then you are supposed to answer in your own words. It's not selection already. MCQ is easy to score, honestly. Okay, MCQ is always easy to score, and I will expect y'all to be getting full marks. Okay, how are you able to get full marks? Whenever I ask you questions, you start thinking. Whenever I'm asking you, it's because of a good reason. Yeah, you want to score full marks, you have to listen very carefully while I'm asking you, because that will get you to think. If you're not thinking, okay, for this part, right, anytime similar question come out, you will not have the same thoughts. It is important that you are able to think in a different way for different question. Clear? So whenever I highlight certain things, it's because it can be asked in another way and you will be tricked. That's why I don't want to happen. Yeah. So over here, the answer is actually B. I was tricked the first time, because I read it too fast. Okay. When I was reading it just before, the lesson and all, because these are all prepared by 88 Tuition, right? So I was reading it. Will leaf ABC be able to receive water? I didn't read it completely. So I was looking out for yes, yes, and yes, because I noted, I will underline these, right? Oh, food carrying tubes cut. So water carrying tubes are not affected. So I was looking out for yes, yes, yes. And I couldn't find it. That's when I realized, okay, if I make this kind of error, students also can make the error. Clear? Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, quickly type into the chat. Okay, Irene, let's say you get a certain question wrong because I don't have your responses here, right? So I need you to type into the chat. Okay, and then how do you type it? For example, all right, Wayler said he got this wrong. So he put down 2 dot wrong like this. You see how I type in? You type in for me so I can see which one you have gotten it incorrect. Yeah. So if you have gotten this wrong, question 3, you will put 3 dot wrong. Okay. Quickly do it so that I can have a look. So Farmer Han performed an experiment using 2 similar plants, P and Q. He removed the outer ring of a stem of plant P. So this is plant P. And then take a good look here. It says outer ring removed and the food carrying tube. I underline means you also underline in your paper. So when you underline, you're bringing your focus into the points, the main points, very important points. So now food carrying tubes are removed, right? Okay, so read. What are they asking now? They are asking you to identify the statements that are correct. Okay? Statements that are correct, yeah? So plant Q would produce larger fruits. Look at plant Q. Right, will plant Q be able to produce larger fruits? If you have already listened very carefully to the last tutorial, okay, remember last 2 tutorials, in fact, we know that if, let's say, this part here is being cut and the food carrying tubes are removed, the sugar that is made by the leaves goes up and down, isn't it? Okay, the sugar that is formed in the leaf here, the food goes up, goes down. Okay, over here, it will go down. You can even go to the other side, but the sugar will form in these leaves, will come down. So they go up and down. But when they come to this part, what happens? It's stuck. There's no more way to move forward anymore. The sugar gets accumulated here. It will be bulging. Remember, we talked about this? So when this part is stuck with a lot of sugar, any other sugar that is formed will be going to the fruits. Okay, so imagine there are fruits here already, right? Right, if there are fruits here, imagine maybe this is grapes, then the grapes will become fatter and fatter and fatter because the sugar will be accumulated there. However, in this case, the sugar still flows to the roots. Right or not? Okay, there's no extra accumulation of sugar there. Right, so this will produce larger fruits. It's not correct. Only P will produce larger fruits. Next part, the roots of plant P would not be able to receive food. The roots of plant P will not receive food, right? Yes, because food carrying tubes are removed. Okay, all the food or the sugar that is being made by the leaves gets stuck here, cannot move down. Therefore, the roots of plant P does not get food. This is correct. The leaves of plant P would not be able to receive water. This is incorrect because write down the reason: water carrying tubes are intact. So there is no problem with water flow. However, okay, I want to ask you one question now. This is a question that was asked before in another way in